other side.
Now presenting Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment.
Welcome, everybody. Another intro. In fact, I'm going to make this intro really short because I want more time to be spent for Erik and for callers. This is Elisa Medhus with my co-host, Kim Babcock, the medium who will be channeling Erik, my son, who is also a spirit guide for lots and lots of people. Whoever wants to be pestered, call on him, and he will be your guide. Now, I want to introduce Kim first, and I would like her to tell us, well, whatever you want, Kim. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we're here because you guys know how much Erik loves you guys and loves to give you all guidance and advice to help get you through one day at a time. That's what we're here for, and I am honored to be just the tiny little voice behind the big essence of who Erik is. So tonight, you guys, he wants to talk to you guys and kind of pick up where we left off last week. He was talking to you guys about how to stay connected to your loved ones and how to feel connected, how to maintain connection, and new things that you can do in your lives to feel connected to your loved ones that are on the other side. By the way, I have to throw in, he keeps telling me to tell you guys that the intro to the show never gets old to him. He's like, I love hearing that every time. It never gets old. So,
thank you to Groovinator, the one who created it. Thank you, Groovinator.
Awesome. Yes, and thank you, Live Paranormal. So we're here tonight just to kind of continue last week's show and pick up where we left off. You guys know Erik. He will tell you like it is. He will spare nothing in the process. So be mindful of that. Take notes because sometimes this information is helpful later down the road. You can always tune in. I believe, Elisa, it's iTunes that these shows go into podcasts on iTunes and other platforms too. So
yes, and also Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com. But we also have on the blog, if you go to the right-hand sidebar and scroll down a bit, you'll see, what the last show was, and you can click on that and listen to it. So that's pretty easy. www.channelingerik.com.
That's right. So if you guys want to be able to look back on these shows and listen to them again, if you think maybe I didn't quite pick that up or I didn't quite comprehend, check out the blog and go back through and listen to some of these shows. It's pretty cool. So enough with all the jabbering. Erik is ready. He's ready to talk as always.
Hi, sweetie.
He's real dude-like today. He's like, what's up, dudes? He says, hey, Mom, what's up? So
not much.
He wants to get
not
into
much.
talking.
Thank you for coming around for Christmas.
Ooh, he's going right into you, Mama. He's grounding right into talking to you first.
Okay.
Hey. When you say thank you for coming around for Christmas, he's just tapping on his heart, so he's showing gratitude. It's really interesting that the perspective he's going to take here. I guess I didn't expect this, Elisa, but just as we were talking before we went live, you're kind of going through some personal things where you feel like you're experiencing a death in the family, a loss of a loved one in some way. And so I think that this show is going to help you, Mama. That's what he's saying. He's pointing to you and wants you to have your ears on.
I hope so.
He says, Mom, this show isn't about you connecting to me. This is about you helping you deal with what you're going through. So I hope in some level that it helps.
Okay.
Now to all of you guys listening, too, last week we kind of talked about some tangible things that you guys can do to connect to your loved ones. Tonight, Erik wants to talk about your emotions and how through your emotions you can connect again to your loved ones that are on the other side. He says, now I'm just going to start repeating him. He has his arms wide open. He says, we're never gone. We're never really fucking gone. He says, so if you believe that your loved ones are gone, it's that belief that creates the division, that creates the separateness. Hold that thought, he says. And also, it's your expectations that create division too. So that's dividing me and you, he says. And he's talking to all of you guys listening. Because I know you guys out there, and I know you say, I asked Erik to come around. How come I don't see him anymore? How come I don't hear him? Where has he been? he says, he throws his hands up, and in response to you guys asking that, he throws his hands up and says, well, what the fuck? Get rid of your expectations. He says, what have I been teaching you all along? But not just associated with Erik, your loved ones too. You may have made pacts, he says, with your loved ones before they passed, and said, okay, if I go first, this is how I'm going to come in and connect to you. And then you develop an attachment. Trust me, sometimes that works, he says, sometimes it doesn't. He says, when you develop these ideas and then you come home, it's a whole new ballgame. It's a whole new playground, he says. Learning the ropes, and he's again, he wants to give you guys the perspective of his side of things. He said, learning the ropes over here, it takes practice. He's showing like repetition. He doesn't want to say time because, of course, to them, there is no time. But he says it takes practice. So learning the ins and outs of energy and how to affect energy is the key. As we grow in our ability to do that, he says that's how we begin to connect with you guys. But you guys have to meet us halfway. And in doing this, he says he's literally showing somebody taking it all off. He says if you can take it all off, then we can come right in. What he means by this is if you let go of your expectations, let go of your fears, your doubts, your worries, and even longing and desiring that connection creates a filter that I can't get through, he says, or your loved ones. So he's talking really fast and really blunt, so bear with me, you guys. He says, as you guys let go of how you think it's supposed to be, and how you think it should happen, as you guys let go of those layers, you'll be able to feel that connection with your loved ones again. He wants to talk about connecting through emotions and memory as well. But he also said to remind you guys, too, that trusting yourself is probably the biggest piece and the most important piece to this entire puzzle. He says, I'm, bear with me, he's not trying to be mean. He says, I'm so tired of hearing people, Mom, say, well, they can do that, but I can't. I'm not really sure I can do that, but, like a medium
Everybody
could do that.
can.
Yeah. He says, I'm so tired of hearing people say that because it's not true. It's not like there are chosen people. And he literally has himself busting up laughing as he's saying this to you guys. There are not chosen people that can hear their loved ones. There are people that have chosen not to listen to the ego, and that's how they can hear us. And he stops for a minute. He says, I want you guys to hear me on this. The ego is going to tell you that you can't do it, that you can't listen. He says, but I encourage you to trust yourself. He says, you know what, this is interesting. He says, as you build trust in yourselves, let the passion drive your ability to trust. He's basically showing you guys building your trust on the foundation of passion. So what he means by this is you are so passionate to connect with your mom or to connect with your brother or sister, and let that passion be the foundation of your trust. If you don't know how to trust yourself,
how do you make that happen, Erik? How do you ramp up the passion, so to speak? Yeah, you feel like, I really want to do it, but how do you I really want to do it? I mean, how do you get yourself there? Talk yourself into it or what?
No, he's talking about using the desire, the passion to connect to your loved ones as the foundation of trust. So especially, Mom, he says, when people feel hopeless and helpless, but they still know they want to hear from their mom, they still know how bad that burns inside them, they want to hear, they want to know Mom's around, let that passion be the trust. It's a matter of trusting what you can't put your hands on, what you can't see, but you know you can feel. So he says, I'm asking you to let go of the need for material things and trust yourself on a much more esoteric level, he says, much more higher spiritually aware level. But there's so many filters, though. Okay, so we can maybe get through that, but he really wants to talk about the emotions and memories too, because I think if he gives you guys these pointers, he says as he gives you guys these pointers, it will make you feel more competent, and that's what we need right now. He says, because of course it's this cycle. If you feel competent, you trust yourself, and so on and so on. He says, I want you guys to think about your loved ones that you're missing, that you're hoping to connect with and you're hoping to hear from, and develop ongoing communication with without a medium. What does their memory feel like? What does their laughter feel like to you? What do their hugs feel like? Do you remember their hugs? He says, I want you to think about...
Those are all little connections. Those are all little threads of connection. I get it.
He says, exactly. This energy, this emotional awareness. This is Erik's, because he loves music, he loves amplifiers, he says. And he fucking loves emotions because they amplify your energy. And anything that amplifies, he's down for it, he says. He likes amplifiers. He says emotions amplify your energy. So if you connect...
He's a collector amp, you're right. I mean, remember, Erik, you wanted a tube amp so bad. I mean, you really wanted to go retro, and you did, and you loved that tube amp. Still got it. Still got it here for you.
As you're saying this, Elik, so he's running his fingers through his hair, like he's grabbing his hair. Like, he'll put his fingers through his hair, and then he, clenches his hair. Like, he's really excited. So it's funny. But he says, emotions amplify your energy. So when you connect to your loved ones in memory and use that emotion, what does that hug feel like? It feels warm. It feels safe, and the emotions of comfort. This is what I'm talking about, he says. So think about your loved ones. Think about your Papaw and what it feels like to be around him, how you feel happy or safe or whatever it may be. Was he stubborn? What did that make you feel like? And what did he feel like when he was being stubborn? So as you do this, he says, you can recall their memory. Connecting to them feels exactly the same. So when you recall their memory, be mindful of what that feels like. Not what you think, really, but what it feels like. And begin to identify that over and over, because then it will be like second nature. You can, at the flip of a switch, connect to their energy because you remember what it feels like vibrationally. So I hope this is making sense to you guys, and I hope you can use this to connect to your loved ones.
Well,
Erik,
does it also help to recall their smell, for example, or sight, sounds, things, other senses? Or is it mostly emotion-based?
He says he's so amped up right now. He's cracking me up. He says, let me put it to you this way. The more details you can remember and bring about through memory, of course, the more emotion you'll elicit, the more emotion, the stronger the connection, and so on and so on. So he says, be as aware as you can in your details. So if it is your Papaw's, smell of his pipe, or someone's cologne, or whatever it may be, he goes, or grandma's nasty perfume. He says all of those things that help you recall their memory and feel connected to them are all of the things that pave the road to connect the two of you. He says, and he takes this whisper tone with his voice. He says, trust me on this. Trust me. He just keeps whispering, trust me. Because it's not that he wants you guys really to depend on him and trust, but he wants you guys to trust the message so you can develop this within yourself, this level of consciousness, because he wants to see you guys heal in your ability to maintain connections with your loved ones and not have to rely on anything external or anyone external. This is what I want.
Can you walk us through a particular exercise? For example, okay, maybe you say to your deceased daughter, I'd like to have a conversation with you, and maybe you're supposed to set a time, I don't know, this day and this time, and then you sit down and just walk us through the exercise and little tips.
Sure. He says, Mom, you don't, he says, he's laughing, he says, maybe
I want a list. Step 1, step 2, insert tab A and 2, slot B, things like that. That's how I roll, man.
Of course you do. That's so funny. He says, maybe you need a list. Maybe you need to schedule it and organize the time. He says, but we're always here. It doesn't matter what time of day it happens, even if we have no heads up at all. Our consciousness, he says, think about it this way, our consciousness is always available. It's just a matter of your consciousness merging with ours. So for you, it may need to be scheduled, and you may need to have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because, Mom, you trust yourself more when you have that list, don't you? Says. He's like doing this big, like, drum roll. But so, for example, he says, okay, so I can have him give us a list, but he's already saying that he doesn't want people to attach to it, to having to do, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2. He's talking about, step 1, make yourself comfortable. What does that mean? He says that's different for everybody. Step 2 is right here, go here. And he's like tapping on the chest, on the heart. Go here. You have to let go of what you think. He's laughing. He goes, did you hear me? He said, that's right. That's what I said. You have to let go of what you think. Let go of your thoughts. Because your thought debris and all that garbage, all that chatter up in there is going to get in the way. He says, so if you can.
So you tap into your heart. You tap into how you feel.
Exactly. You tap into how you feel, and let the thoughts become distant. And as you listen to how you feel, the way you feel will become loud, and then your thoughts they'll dissolve to where they're not even in the way. When you tap into how you feel, how does it feel when you're sitting next to? Okay, this is where he oftentimes, you guys know, Erik will make me share examples, and he totally just did that. He just dropped off and pointed at me, and when he does that, he'll interrupt himself and he'll point at me, and that's his way of saying, take it from here, and then he shares, he shows me what he wants me to share. So here we go. Anytime I sit down to connect with Spirit and connect with Erik or loved ones of a perfect stranger or anybody, I separate from what I think, and I go energetically into this. I know it sounds morbid, but this dark space. But it's pure, it's still, it's quiet, it's expansive, it's infinite, okay? But there's no thoughts here. And let's say I'm doing a reading for a perfect stranger, and her name is Anna. All I do is I just start to focus on Anna, and just connect to her name as my mantra and start to feel her energy. Now, of course, I employ clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairsentience mostly, but clairsentience is number 1. So I start to go through what I feel. Oh, she feels heavy in the heart. And then I'll ask, well, where does this heaviness come from? And but I ask through the heart, not through the head, because the head, you see, has to rationalize. Erik says, keep going. So the head has to rationalize. The heart just follows. The heart just accepts. So as I'm connecting to Anna and feeling what she's going through, and I feel this heaviness, then I feel where is this connected? It feels like it's connected to. Now this, you guys, we could even do a 3rd episode on this because
let's do it. I'm game. This is so important because your big message, Erik, is that there's no reason why we can't continue to have a relationship with those we quote unquote lose. Exactly.
And this is huge. Erik is like circling this and putting a lot of emphasis on this. And I had a profound moment last night that I actually cried a little bit. Yep, I'm going to admit it. I cried, whatever. But
big baby. I'm kidding.
I am a big baby anymore. You have to develop a way of communication too to your loved ones. You can listen in a deep way through the heart. Listen to how you feel. A quick example. What does it feel like if you're a kid and you step into a candy store? It's like you feel overwhelmed and excited, happy. So you feel that emotion, okay? Now when I communicate with Spirit, they'll take me through that emotion, that feeling, to convey excitement. If I feel heavy because of a sense of loss, there are so many ways that they can make you feel. But it's important too, if you guys develop clairvoyance, which every single one of you listening are capable of. If you develop the clairvoyance, you can develop a huge symbol bank. And this is incredible because once you do this, you can, you just blow the lid off of your ability to communicate with your loved ones. The moment that I had last night was a lot of the symbols that Spirit uses, and even Erik, they use their hands, and they've done these gestures to talk to me and tell me things. So I'm like, okay, when they do this with their hand, this is what it means. Well, I have this fascination with sign language, right? So last night I jumped on YouTube, and I'm like, I'm going to learn sign language tonight, whatever I can comprehend. And I was dumbfounded watching sign language because I realized Spirit's been teaching me sign language. I just didn't know it was actually legitimately like what is used in American Sign Language. It was the symbols lined up, the meanings lined up, and I couldn't believe it. But anyway, Erik is telling you guys, too, the importance of having these symbols, because when you do this, your loved ones can communicate even further to you. It's just a deeper way to know yourself and know your loved ones. So he's kind of pulling his energy back because he wants to be able to take you guys' questions. But we probably could go into a third and probably a fourth show about this to help you guys really get inside the guts of this, Erik says. But he wants you guys, if anything, if you take away anything, take away your emotional connection to your loved one. But please, he says, don't get caught up in the emotional connection to the loss or to the grief, because that's the hang-up moment where they trip.
Yeah, that'll shut you down. That's a dense energy that spirits have a hard time getting through.
Exactly. So,
all right. Well,
go ahead. You're okay. Go ahead. He's just saying, remember us for how you remember us, for when we were full of life, not through the loss, not through those heavy emotions.
Right. Because there is no loss except for the physical, the hugs and things. But anyway, I want to first, before we take calls, I want to thank liveparanormal.com. This is like a station ID. Without them, we really couldn't bring this show to you guys, and I'm very grateful to them. It's a great radio station with lots of awesome shows that you guys need to check out. All right, we're ready for calls, and I want to ask you guys, please, to limit it to one question so we can take as many callers as we can possibly take. All right, so first, I'm going to take one from a weird number that has, like, not enough digits, but it ends in 4682. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Welcome to the show.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I'm calling from Spain, actually.
Oh, awesome.
España,
So,
yay.
Hey, I want to thank you guys for everything, actually. You guys are doing a great job for the world. Anyway,
you're welcome.
I wanted to ask Erik if he could contact my higher self and my spirit guides, and I give them all of them the floor. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Of course. Boy, this is the information coming through is very strong through clairvoyance. Everything is, when Erik connects to and gives guidance in any way, he does so by pulling that information basically from your higher self. So
okay.
I always tell people, whether it comes from Erik or your higher self, it's pretty much the same thing. So It might sound strange, but it's true. As you're talking, the first thing that they're showing me, your higher self and Erik, is everything orange. So what this means, because it's their way of, just like we were talking, communicating to me through symbols. They show me orange. That means a handful of things that I can express to you, okay? Orange means your creative self, your sense of creativity, your emotions, your confidence, and your passion, and even it's related to your intimate life. So evaluate, these 5 different areas of your life. I think it's going to be creative and confidence, creativity and confidence. So really listen to, if you're feeling pushed in some area in your life intuitively to be creative, allow yourself to explore that, okay? So if it's writing, if it's composing, painting, whatever it may be, allow yourself to be creative. Even if you think, well, I have no experience in that, still explore it anyway. Then there's also, they're circling confidence. Man, but see, it goes, they're going through the whole list again. They're going through the whole list. So do what you can to balance this chakra. Again, this is the sacral chakra, and if you can look into everything that it represents, I think you'll find where it resonates that you need to balance. The quickest, easiest things I can tell you to bring health and wellness to this area and balance is anything orange. Eat oranges, drink orange juice, wear orange. You can use low-lit orange bulbs.
My hair used to be red.
Oh, wow. Interesting. But ground yourself and work through your passion, too. Listen to your passion, what you're passionate about, your creativity, and be confident as you do, because confidence is a big thing, too. Emotions are, this is interesting, the word emotions they're showing me is very small. It's in very fine print. So what this means to me is there's not quite enough energy being expressed through your emotions. Sometimes I'll see it in like bold, huge letters, and that's their way of saying your emotions are too strong. But I see it in very fine print. So it's their way of saying express yourself more emotionally, but don't be governed by your emotions. Okay? So it's, again, they're encouraging you to bring balance all in that sacral chakra.
Now you can, on iTunes, for example, and I'm sure there's YouTube's also, there are certain songs or sounds that you can download to help balance different chakras, so you can check that out. Erik, what does higher self or his guides say his spiritual mission is? Maybe that ties into some of this.
Ooh, good question. His spiritual mission is, okay, so this is, Erik says not to confuse this with your purpose, like your life purpose, but your mission on the soul level is always expansion, Mom. Now, free will, he says, is used to exercise that however you will. For you, it's this is rough. Oh man, sometimes I wish I didn't have to say the things that they want me to say. Letting people go. Be aware of female energy that may be invasive or taxing or unhealthy for you. Be able to let that go, because it seems like right now they're encouraging you, they being your higher self and Erik, your soul mission is to be able to be independent in that process, to be able to voice and assert someone and identify that, I guess, problem area. So, you know, this is how I have to grow, by letting this person go and maybe not be such a primary role in my life. So this is something Erik is telling you to write down, make a note of. When he does that, when he shows me that, it's his way of saying that it could very well be a future reference.
Okay.
So I hope this helps. And if anything, like Elisa said, check out iTunes. You can find all kinds of stuff on iTunes and Spotify for that sacral chakra.
Well,
you said say.
If you could say it really quickly in like one sentence, what is his life purpose then?
Independence.
Wow.
Less than all right.
And one word is independence.
Elisa, you always take the thoughts out of my mind with your questions. You ask the perfect questions, Elisa.
I'm stuffing your
anyway.
brains out through your eyeballs. That's why I have my evil ways.
Well, I take the chance to wish a happy New Year to the world, to everyone that's listening. Okay?
Aww.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, from my dad's home country. I love Spain. I visited this fall, and it was just, so lovely, and so much better coffee there than we have over here.
Oh, God, I'm jealous. I've never been there.
Actually, you can grow hair on your chest, seriously.
I'll go for the coffee.
All right, let's take another call. Take another call from the 302 area code. Hi there. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Elisa, Kim?
Yep.
Hi. Oh, my gosh. Hello, Erik. My name is Olivia, and I actually spoke with you guys, I think it was like 3 shows ago, where Erik gave me great advice about, and I'll just jog your memory real quickly, about burning incense and oils and mixing the two so that I can go into a deeper meditative state.
Ooh.
But yes, So anyway, again, my name is Olivia, and I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for the wonderful work you are doing, as the caller stated earlier, and how truly, truly grateful, infinitely grateful I am to all of you, especially, being on Earth at this time for all of us, I think is proving to be a bit challenging. My question would be this. I did practice what you proposed during the last show, Kim and Erik, about using the pendulum.
Oh,
and
cool.
I tried, and I believe I did contact my father. I actually was trying to get a hold of Erik, but my father stepped in. And I was so happy to have him that I was asking so many questions too fast, I think, that my pendulum couldn't catch up and kind of like swing the proper way. So then I finally calmed down and I said, okay, let's try this again. But then I kind of lost the contact. But afterwards, what ended up happening was I had a dream about my father, and he came through in a dream. The only thing is I'm unable to interpret my dreams because I just don't understand the symbolisms that are used.
Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. First of all, he says that you bring up a good point about the pendulum. He's reminding me too of the e-board. I remember a long time ago he came through and he said, well, if you're not using it right, it's not going to work. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, have the top of the board face north. And I was like, oh, okay. But your intentions are important. But for the pendulum, when you said that the energy was going so fast it could hardly catch up and so on, he says for all of you guys listening to use the pendulum between each question. You should stop the pendulum with your hands. Like you should reset it each time. So he says to keep a straight connection and a straight interpretation of what answer you're getting to which question. Stop the pendulum. If you ask it a question and you get your answer, then stop it from swinging completely, reset it, and then reapproach it with your next question.
You had to face north or anything?
No, he says the pendulum, there's no specific direction for it to face.
Okay.
Just resetting it, he says, each time you ask a question. He says don't forget to cleanse it, whether through your intentions or smudging or anything else. Don't forget to cleanse it. But So moving to the dreams, the dream interpretation and the symbolism, this is where people get so frustrated with Erik. But this is Erik being a teacher. He's a magnificent teacher. If you can open your heart enough to kind of go with him. He says that no matter what symbolism comes through, listen to how you feel when you see it, when you recall it. How'd you feel? That's the meaning to that symbol for you. He says, because I could show Kim something and I could show you the same thing, and it's going to mean something different. Even though I showed you the same thing, it'll be something different to you than to her. So instead of, he says, and I just love when he does this because it's so empowering. He says, instead of me telling you what the symbols mean to you, trust what you feel when you see them. That's key. And I'll be honest with you. Like I was talking earlier, when Spirit started doing these hand gestures, I was like, oh, okay. So when they wave, they kind of rub their throat up and down. That's their way of saying that they couldn't eat or drink before they passed. And so when I was doing sign language last night and learning it, I saw too that that's what that meant. It meant drink. And I so know that. But each time I trusted the energy that came with it too, the way that it felt. So he's telling you the same thing. If you saw a wolf, how'd you feel? Did you feel threatened? Did you feel empowered? So listen to how you feel. Go back and re-examine the symbols and listen to how you feel, because that's going to be the most authentic experience for you and messages behind.
Can you name one symbol that you recall from the dream?
I just remember his eyes. My father looked blind, but his eyes were freaking me out. And I've never seen anything like that. So the eyes were like kind of like grayish, really weird color. And then I can't remember.
And it frightened you. You felt scared.
Yeah, yeah, I got really scared.
He says a couple other things to keep in mind when we're talking about dreams. He says oftentimes you can experience your subconscious in your dreams, which holds your fears. You can experience your own fears in your dreams. I've had a lot of people ask Erik about their dreams about, well, my mom was talking to me and I could see her mouth moving, but I couldn't hear her. And he would say, well, that's your subconscious fear of not being able to communicate and talk to her now because she's on the other side. So first of all, he says, I'm not going to tell you what this means because he wants you to dig.
Dang it. I was hoping.
He says, but I want you
to make it work for
about, he says, think about what the eyes represent, this, from his perspective and yours. And he also says to acknowledge your fear. So are you afraid of seeing something? I mean, that's
I am. I was actually going to say I probably am afraid of, even though I really want to see him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if a lot of people feel this way. Like, we really want to connect with those who have transitioned, but there's this fear.
Yeah.
And
of course. It's kind of creepy, huh?
You want to go past
too many ghost stories.
Even if it is your own dad, your own father, he says, you saw your fear in his eyes. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he wanted you to realize that, though, instead of him just telling you, because it's you will comprehend it. Your soul will saturate that lesson more if you learn it yourself rather than him. So
True.
I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that kind of eases the way that dream felt for you.
It did. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Erik. Happy New Year to you guys.
Oh,
and
Happy New Year. You're welcome.
Same to you.
I hope to see you
and
guys in Houston.
Bye.
Yes. Bye.
Oops, I cut her off. Dang it. All right. Let's take another one from the 860 area code. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? Hey.
I'm good. How are you?
What's up? Good.
I'm so
What's your name?
Good. Amy.
Well, hi, Amy. What you got for you?
Hi. How are you?
Good.
I'm so excited. You have no idea. Okay.
I
want to say thank
You're making me all excited now.
Oh my God! Her energy is just like blasting through the phone.
I want to cry. I literally want to cry. I'm in happy tears, though, of course.
You could cry. It's all good.
Okay. I have one pretty simple question for Erik, and I just want to know if he has been around me at all in the past month, by any chance.
Oh, boy.
Around little things.
He takes a really deep-toned voice with you.
Uh-oh.
He goes, Amy. Like, I can't even get as deep as he can. You're welcome for that impersonation for at least trying.
That was great.
He takes a really deep tone, and the way I say, oh, gosh, is because he's, like, flirting with you. So, but when you said if he's been with you in the last month, he actually extended it past that. I feel like he's been with you longer than that. He actually is laughing because, and it's his energy again. The way he feels. He is. Let me try to explain this to you. He feels to all of you guys listening. Erik will explain his answer by doing the same thing to me, okay? So basically he just moved into my chest space, into my heart space in a much deeper way. So what he's expressing by doing that is saying, Amy, that he's deeply connected to you. He's easily connected to you because of how open you are. And he has a deeper capacity to interact with you, again, because of how open you are. So there are people that he does connect to, but not as intimately because of their filters, or their disbeliefs, or their doubt, and so on. But he says that he's more interactive with you.
Amy? Are you crushing on Amy?
So, but he says you're so open, it's easy, and he also says you're easy to fuck with. So sorry for the language.
Does he know anything about a hamburger and a drink on a little like pendant out of a like a mystery egg machine. Does he know anything about that?
He has his fingers up tapping on his lips, and he says, I don't know nothing at all. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. This is what he's making me feel. I feel like he's making things go missing for you, and it missing or reappearing, and it drives, these are his words, drives you fucking crazy. So I don't know if this is what you're experiencing, but this is how he's interacting with you. These are his words again, so sorry for the cussing, but he says he loves fucking with your environment because you are easy to get the attention, to get your attention. So know that it's him. Know that it's him, and as soon as you can, in such a pure way, surrender to that, you'll find those objects. So there's something about a picture, too. He's talking about a picture. I don't know if it's a picture of you, of a family member, a loved one, or him, or something. He says to talk about the picture. So I don't know if there's a picture gone missing or something funny with a picture. But keep this in mind.
Maybe it will.
It
Hold on to
very well
your value. You better count the silverware.
Oh, geez, all my spoons go missing, but I know that's my daughter.
Oh.
Well, thanks, Amy, for calling in. I hope that helps.
Does he have any advice for me, anything quickly? Anything at all?
Yep. He says very compassionately to love yourself, and he means that with complete sincerity. You need to work on this, he says.
I know that.
So,
Tell him
thanks
thank you.
for calling.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You're welcome. Happy New Year, Amy.
Thank you. You also. Bye.
I love her energy.
I know.
It's so childlike. I really like it.
Aw, so
All right,
sweet.
let's see if we could squeeze in another one, and then we'll close off by letting Kim say whatever she wants, given the announcement she happens to have. Let me see here. Here is one from the 918 area code. Hi there. How are you doing?
Hi, this is Lisa from Tulsa.
Welcome,
Hi, Lisa.
First, really quickly, I just have to thank you both so much, and Lisa in particular. I have a 16-year-old son, and that you do this despite the pain is just unbelievable, and I know you've helped so many of us, so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I can't let this death be a waste, you know? I just couldn't do that.
I am 43, and I'm a single mom, and for the past 4 years, I've chosen not to date, to work on myself and my kids, and to live for me for the first time in my entire life. And I feel like my life is totally open. Like I'm on the threshold of something big that my whole life has led up to, and of course I have no idea what it is. So I guess the best question for Erik would be just any advice he thinks would benefit me right now.
Oh, man. This always, oh, man, he has a way of just shooting that spear right through the chest, I swear.
Oh, no.
He just comes right in and puts his finger on it. He does. He puts his finger on it, and it's like, dang, like, ease up, dude. He says, okay, and I'll elaborate, and I'll try to soften it as much as I can.
No, you don't have to do
that.
No,
you won't.
Good.
He says, lose the labels. He says, I want you, when you have time, I want you to go back and listen to how you introduced yourself. Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm 43. I'm single. Da-da-da-da-da. He says, I want you to listen to, even beyond the show, though, listen to yourself and how you label yourself.
Yeah.
Label yourself as, this type of professional, this type of mom, this type of ex, or whatever it may be. You, and it's so easy to do, though. So don't carry guilt, thinking, oh gosh, why, don't carry guilt. He says
it's an American thing.
It's human nature. Yeah, it's human nature. We begin to carry these labels, and so he says, look in every aspect of your life. Do you carry labels of your body weight, your image, yourself, your voice? Everything. He says that you have a lot of labels that you believe in. So get to know yourself without those labels. He says, and I mean this with sincerity and compassion. He's really softening his energy and trying to be compassionate with you as he says this, because I feel like right now, but also in the past, you have been stripping the ego slowly, and he's showing you continuing to do that through losing these labels.
Right.
Because I think as you do this, like, you're going to free yourself even more. He says to tell you, this is something he's been talking to me about lately. Say yes to yourself and experience the magic that happens. No matter
and
what.
That's easy to do sometimes.
No matter what, though. Okay, so when it's like, oh gosh, I might be this age. Is it okay to date? Yes, it's okay. I'm a mom and I'm tired. I think I'm going to skip cooking dinner. Kids, make yourself a sandwich. Is that okay? Yes. He says, imagine the miracles that await you when you start to say yes to yourself, but wipe away all the labels. So I hope that makes sense to you, Amy, and I hope that...
No, it really, really does.
Good.
Well, what is this next big thing that she's on the threshold of? Can you give us any hints, Erik?
Oh, man, I wish you guys had to suffer through this stuff, too. Amy, I don't know you. I've never met you. What? What was that? Oh, I said I hope you guys, okay, just listen, bear with me here. This is what he shows me. When you said, what's the next big thing? And see, this is Erik, though. This is why he's so amazing. He puts you, Amy, in front of a mirror, and he makes you look at yourself with nothing on. But but see, there's the reaction that is so expected. But see, this is what he's doing. It's beautiful because he's literally, and see, I don't know you. I don't know what you look like because I'm seeing your energy. I'm not seeing your physical body, so don't worry. But he's standing behind you, coaching you as you look down on yourself and you talk down on yourself. He's coaching you. No, that's not you. When you say, here's this label, oh my gosh, I look like this, or I feel like that, or this is a person that's been through this, here's the damage in my heart, you go through all of these labels. So Mom, he says, when you talk about what's the next big thing, this is the next big thing, is her revealing herself to herself, her allowing herself to do that. And it's beautiful. He's really shown that.
Never are able to do that. They die not knowing who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And he says too that these past emotions that are tied into a past relationship that you're carrying damage from, you can let that go now. You can take that layer off. And so as he's showing you, he's only done this one other time where he showed me this image of himself standing behind somebody, another female, in front of a mirror, as she takes it all off and she's afraid to look at herself. But it's so beautiful how he's whispering to you. It's such a he just looks beautiful. He has his armor on. I mean, he has these wings, and he's coaching you as an angel, as you could imagine a guide or an angel saying, but that's not you. When you say, oh gosh, I wish I was a little bit taller, or I wish I was a little bit bustier, but that's not you. So every time you want to talk down on yourself or look down on yourself, that's where he's going to meet you halfway and pick you back up. And he says, this is the next big thing. I know. The first time he showed me this, I actually cried. I couldn't get through it with the client without crying. But it's such a powerful thing, and he wants you to allow yourself to be yourself. Say yes to you now. That's the next big thing.
Wow. That's awesome. I hope that helps. And I hope it helps a lot of people.
I hope so, too. I hope you guys can all do that and practice it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sure. Well, I guess we ought to quickly close because I know we're up against another show, and the callers for that show are probably trying to get on. So is there one quick thing you'd like to say, Kim, before we close?
Sure. As always, you guys, thank you so much for listening. It will be the new year before we talk to you guys again right here on Life Paranormal. So thank you, Life Paranormal, for having us. Thank you guys for listening. As always, thank you, Elisa and Erik. Check out channelingerik.com, you guys. Erik spelled with a K. The upcoming event is on my website in Houston in just a couple weeks at kimbabcock.net. You can find all kinds of information on both of those sites. So kisses, hugs to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful but safe new year, and we will talk soon. Take care, everybody.
See you in 2017. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.